Coordinator for Strategic Communications at the National Security Council in the White House, John Kirby, not denying explosive claims from UFO whistleblower David Grusch. Let's watch.
David Grusch, who sat on a U.S. Air Force panel on UAPs, he says that he was informed of a UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program based on interviewing 40 witnesses over 4 years. Does such a program exist, and do you believe that the American people deserve to know if it does?
I have no information on that to provide for you today, one way or the other. I would just say what I said last week when I got asked about this. We obviously take the issue of unidentified aerial phenomenon seriously. There's a whole office at the Pentagon that is stood up to analyze the data, collect reports, collate those reports, and forward them up appropriately. And that's, I think, testament to the fact that we know that in some cases these phenomena have impacted military training, have then impacted military readiness.
Kirby also weighed in on President Joe Biden's view of Grusch's allegations.
If the president didn't believe that the sightings by pilots were serious enough to be considered, he wouldn't have wanted the Pentagon to stand up an office to look at this, to analyze the data, to collect reports, to provide a system by which we can collate the information and better figure out what we've got here. But that work's ongoing. So if your question is, do we think we need to be transparent with the American people? Of course we need to be as transparent as we can be. But the truth is, Jeremy, we don't have hard and fast answers on these things.
So people who are, believers in the UAP community online were celebrating this moment as sort of evidence of the credibility of Grusch, that a senior communications official would not take this opportunity to really offer much in the way of skepticism or pushback, but to say that this is something that, pilots have observed. There's some phenomenon happening. We have to find out what it is, was considered to be, I think, a real boon for the community, especially after last week and some of the reporting that tended to undermine, or perhaps was intended to undermine, credibility in Grusch because of the FOIA request that came out about him having had some past issues with alcohol abuse and the like.
Right, and I've not seen that story. I don't know that it's changed much of the certainly not the interest from the the community of people who are who pay a lot of attention to this issue. It doesn't sound like they're letting up just because of the development that Ken Klippenstein reported on. I think it was good of John Kirby not to take that opportunity to just dismiss all sorts of claims to this. On this level, because whatever you think about Grusch and whether you think what was revealed is relevant, it's still the case that we deserve, the American people, I believe, are entitled to more transparency around this issue, around the claims that not just David Grusch, but a lot of other people. There were other people who testified at that hearing. There were other people who were supposed to testify, and apparently, it's been reported, felt worried about doing so. So how can we hear from all of them? It's not going to be the case that every single one of them has some sordid thing in their past that means you can no longer believe them. I doubt that. I don't accept that.
Sure. Here's the problem. I don't care about the Grusch stuff. What I care about is that we have testimony that there's aliens in their craft in a room somewhere, that someone has seen bodies in a craft. And the questions that I want to see Kirby and others in the administration responding to is, have you connected with those witnesses who have identified where they saw those things, where they saw the aliens, where they saw the craft? Have you gone back to those locations and confirmed the existence of the aliens in the craft? Tell me what scientific tests have been done on the body to confirm that it is extraterrestrial in origin and not a creature or a kind of Victorian era style funhouse sewn together monkey and fish to make a fake mermaid kind of a deal, and provide some actual evidence.
Did they used to do that to the poor monkeys?
They did. They definitely were mermen created of composites of animals in a way that I'm sure PETA would not approve of. But again, I'm in this holding pattern where it's very frustrating. It's almost more frustrating to me to have this acknowledgement by the administration than it would if they were obviously trying to suppress it. And I don't want to read too far into this one way or the other. But just a week ago, we were having all these conversations about how the intelligence agencies didn't really want this to come out, and that's why they leaked these documents to Ken Klippenstein, which of course did not end up being the case. That's not how he got all of that information. It was just through a FOIA request of publicly available documents.
But he did solicit defense officials he knew for their thoughts on Grusch. So
yes.
it was.
But the narrative was they're leaking this information to destroy Grusch. The government doesn't want you to know about Grusch. But what the evidence that we see seems to be that there seems to be a healthy appetite for the government to talk about this and to have us talking about it, short of
right,
actually showing us anything.
You think it's a distraction? Yeah.
Because at this point, if everyone's happy for us to learn more about it, it's like if I say, I mean, at a certain point, okay, Robby, I have got aliens back at my apartment. And I'm willing to have a bunch of high-profile hearings discussing the aliens at my apartment. But under no circumstances, I'm going to invite you over to see the aliens in my apartment. Like, you are the government.
Yeah.
You are the one that has possession of these things. So either give us a story about how, it was destroyed by an earlier era of government that didn't want you to know the secrets. We would have told you the secrets, but they destroyed it, and I'm sorry, there's no more evidence. Or stop with a charade. But we're getting very close to put up or shut up territory.
I think we're well past that territory. I'm so sick of being told, we'd like to tell you what this is or where it is, but we need to do it in a secure room. And we can't tell you. We can just tell, we can't tell you, the people. We can just tell you, the congressman, in secret. And then we can't tell you who told us that. And we can't tell you who's stopping us from telling you.
Right. That's an important point. And these witnesses who, there were witnesses who were supposed to testify at the last hearing who didn't. What specifically are they afraid of? Have they faced any real threats? What do they think is going to befall them that is not likely to befall someone like Grusch, who has put his neck out there, and the other witnesses who were able to testify and come forward? When you're doing journalism and you're making the decision to let people talk anonymously, at very least, often there's a lot of contextualization for why it is that they don't want to go on the record, or they still work for said senator and they don't want to get fired.
Well,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine now. I mean, look, I'm not alleging that Ken or the Intercept report did anything wrong or inappropriate. I can now imagine, and maybe this was always evident, not wanting to come forward and risk scrutiny of your personal life or something. But I mean, that's just what everybody faces.
All right, well, that's it. How much is it? Is it really a deep, dark secret that matters? And that, you're a hero. Exactly. I mean, look at what happened to Julian Assange. Julian Assange has to go through this whole Me Too trial. He's spent years in prison, in constrictive circumstances and in prisons, for something that he believed in. And I'm not saying everyone has to have that level of courage, but I don't think you can simultaneously say these are amazing heroes and we got to offer them protection and at the same time that they stay completely anonymous. And also, they were scheduled to testify and then last minute decided not to, which suggests to me that, were you really going to do it? So you were on the fence. So what can we do to get you over the fence?
It'd be really great if we could get more information on why exactly that happened. I'd like to know.
Yes, even if you're not coming forward, what was motivating that? Just give us some more context. Who should you be afraid of?
Name names.
Because sometimes sunlight is the best disinfectant, and you can protect yourself by naming the person who would otherwise cause you harm and make it more difficult for them to seek revenge on you in those ways.
Well, The Hill is hosting a special UFO UAP event later today, so please tune into The Hill's The Truth Is Out There UFOs and National Security event today at 2 p.m. You can watch it here on our YouTube page, also at thehill.com. You can see it on Twitter and Facebook. And that actually does it for us for the week. Tomorrow, you can catch Jessica Burbank and Amber Athey for Rising Fridays, and we will be back with you next week.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content. And for those of you who prefer to listen while you're on the move, we are now available anywhere you listen to podcasts.
We've been informed we have some homemade ziti waiting for us in the lunchroom, so I'm excited for that. Take care.
Bye-bye.